Who do you think you are to do that? Yes, thank you for having me on your show. I'm Aprille Hunt, called Epic Aprille. I'm the master coach and president of Coach Speak and Serve, which is a company that helps purpose-driven coaches, speakers, and authors make more money with their voice doing what they love, in a nutshell. And I do a whole bunch of other things, but we'll start there.
Awesome. So as you guys heard, she works hand in hand with authors, speakers, and coaches, monetizing their audience, and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as you heard before, our show is called Behind Closed Doors Podcast.
Ooh.
And you could tell what's that about. Like everybody sees the success, everybody sees all the shiny little things, everybody sees the nice part, but what's going on behind closed doors? What's going on when you hit those struggles, and when you get to those points where you almost want to quit, but you don't want to do it,
and go work for McDonald's.
Exactly. Not that we have anything against it.
Nothing against McDonald's. I'm just saying.
All right, so let's see. Like everybody sees your success now, right? Like you go, you have speaking engagements, you get a bunch
followers,
of and all that good stuff.
Making money.
Right.
Yeah.
How was it for you when you started out and you didn't have an audience and you didn't have money and you didn't have people to work with and you didn't have testimonials and all that stuff?
Well, you know, I think my story is unique and maybe not so much, I don't know, but for me it is. And definitely, I mean, I dropped out of high school. I didn't go to college. I don't have a GED still, right? So that's part of my story. And so that's what it was like. It was like I had to pull myself up and make a decision that I just wanted to be successful. And I had to decide what that looked like. You know, what does success look like for me? And so, you know, all of the things that you see, this is why I say, like, when you see successful people, I feel like they deserve to be there. Like, you never know what those people have been doing behind the scenes. You know, the late nights, the almost going bankrupt, spending all your money, you know, trying to make your dream work, you know, going through relationships, like people not understanding your passion and all that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff is real. So for me, you know, when I first got started, it was because I had hired a career coach, a career transition coach, because I owned a real estate company before. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something that was like, that I wanted to do, you know, like I wanted to, you know, everybody, we all want to help people. We're all big helpers, you know, and I wanted to be in this world of transformation. And so I just decided to do it.
Awesome. So what were the main struggles that you would say, okay, you pointed, because that you kind of jumped to the second question, even though you didn't know it.
Oh.
Because my other question was, what was the main thing that you would say skyrocket your business? And you said it already because you hired a career coach and then.
Oh yeah. So I think one of the main struggles, was not knowing what you didn't know. You know, it's like you don't know what you don't know. It's like, okay, let's say you want to start. I want to start a coaching business. You know, you don't know, like, how do you build packages? How do you market? How do you get people to say yes? How do you actually coach them from this place to this place? I think that was probably like the biggest thing, is demystifying an industry that's not even really regulated. Right? And so it's like, you know, what do you do? What's right? What's wrong? Is there a right? Is there a wrong? You know, and so that was kind of the biggest thing. It wasn't necessarily money, because I am a money maker, meaning I can activate a side hustle like this, right? So the first thing, you know, to truthfully, when I wanted to hire a coach, I wanted to go to this training seminar, and it was $5,000, and I didn't have $5,000 at the time. And not for that, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided that I was gonna build Wix websites. So Wix is like Wix.com. You could build a site. Right. So I started calling companies who I knew didn't have a website. And I would build their website for $500. So I call and I say, hey, what's your website? I wanna know more about your business. And they say, oh, I don't have a website. And I was like, oh, really? Well, that's great.
Like cold calling, literally cold calling people?
Like literally cold calling. And I would charge them $500 a pop, and that's how I made the money to go on this $5,000 thing.
No excuses. Like, there's no way that you can say anything like that.
Right, like you gotta bake cupcakes. Are you doing resumes for friends? I mean, like, you know, in this day and age, you can drive Uber. Like, what do you need to do?
What's your excuse, right?
To make it happen. you know? And I don't know, you saw, because we're at this event here, and so we met, and there's a guy here that came to see me from LA, and his name is Serena. He has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I've seen the live.
And he came, and he's a speaker. He's speaking at USC in a week. And he said, cut the bullshit. He's like, what's your excuse? Like, there's all these barriers. People can say, I don't have the education. I don't have money. More than education and money is drive. Do you have the drive to just say, I'm gonna do it? I don't have all the answers. I don't know all the nooks and crannies. I don't know what all the detours are gonna be, but I'm gonna try, right? I'm gonna be resourceful. I'm gonna hop on Google. I'm gonna start going networking, seeing who is doing what I wanna be doing, and stalking them, you know, online if you have to, you know? And so that's part of it. It's like, so in the beginning, it was just not knowing, and then you having to do that due diligence to figure it out for yourself.
Awesome, that's super, super interesting. And before I even get to the next question, I gotta say, like, yes, I was just mentioning that to Aprille a few moments ago. I was a little sleepy yesterday because it was afternoon. I think about 2 p.m. when you went on stage. Like,
I was the after lunch chick. Okay, the after lunch speaker.
So her, like, just her presence and the way, like, the energy that she brings on the stage is like amazing. You guys gotta check her out on at least one event of her, or something. Like, just go on her Facebook.
Yeah.
At the end, we'll go. We'll explain it.
Yeah.
We'll let them know about the places that they can find you. But let's get to the next question. So you said you had this career coach, right?
Yeah.
So did she walk you to the process step by step, like, this is what you need to do, and then you just did it and you listened and without questioning and then start doing it?
So here's what's interesting. This was about 6 years ago. She charged me $189 for this session, and she did an interview with me, made me read this ebook, and then she came back and she said, based on what you're sharing with me and what your dreams are and what you've done, these are the 5 things I think you should be doing. I think you should start a women's empowerment movement, which I did. That was the first brand I started, Women Recharge. You should start a travel group because you love travel, which I did. We called it Diva Escape. So we would travel stateside and out of the country.
Yep.
And I still travel heavily, just got back from Venice. And she said you should write a book and tell your story, which I did. She said you should start a nonprofit, which I'm starting one now, finally, for teenage entrepreneurs. And there was a 5th thing I can't remember, but I did it. So the last thing that was left to do was the nonprofit. And she gave me what to do. She didn't tell me how to do it.
Just like a blueprint of.
It was a blueprint of, this is some things that you should do, and here's some resources to kind of get started. And she sent me on my way. And then it was my job to then decipher.
Figure out.
Yes, and so but then I hired someone else to help me with the book. I hired a book coach, you know, and the book coach helped me. And then I started really paying attention and going to trainings and watching things like this that gave me real insights behind the scenes on what was going on with real people. So I knew what to look out for. And that's what I did. I mean, honestly, like, it's so funny because I still have the email she sent me. It wasn't anything fancy. Sent me the email outlining anything. I printed it off and I started highlighting shit, like, you know.
Start doing it.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, write a book. About what? Right.
Like when you put it that way, obviously, write a book is like not writing a blog.
Right. It's like what am I writing about? But that's kind of the fun of it too. It's like figuring it out along the way and not taking everything so seriously. I mean, obviously we got to make money and we got to make an impact, but having fun with it, like, that's the best thing, you know, is that we get the flexibility of being flexible.
Yeah, that's a very important aspect. Now, right now, after you've been working with so many speakers, coaches, authors, and people of this nature, what do you say you see them do wrong every time? Like, because it's got to be, I know there like
tons of things.
We can talk for hours.
Right. Let me just sit back with you. We're just gonna bring us a drink.
What's the main thing that you would say, like, you see them do wrong every time?
I think there's a couple things with entrepreneurs in general. One of them is they are not spending their money in the right places. So they go out and they attempt to build a website of this or that. They really don't have a brand. They have an idea.
Yeah.
And they have things that look good that don't mean anything to a specific target audience. They created things that look good to them. So they love pink, or they love blue, or they love orange. So they created a website, and then they think they have a message. So that's the first thing, is that they're not branded really. So it really is no brand. Because the visual elements is one thing, but understanding who your avatar and your message is, that's something totally different. And so those are two separate things. So once you understand what the brand is about, then you can attach the visuals to it. Okay, great. Now let's talk about colors and typography and that sort of thing. Logos, websites. So I think that's the number one mistake. The second thing I think is that people think that there is an easier way. Like, they think they can spend money to be successful, and you can't. Like, you have to invest in the right things in order to get the know-how. Like, we're here at this event, right? And so this is an investment of time, of money, of energy, of meeting, people of like minds. And so investing in the right things, I think, is really important as well. And then I have another third thing. The third thing is when they do make money, they spend it on bills, and they should be reinvesting it in the business. So like, for example, let's say you're a new author and you have a job, you have your book, and let's say your book's the only thing you got. So you got a $20 book, you're selling it, let's say you make $500, that you don't pay your car note with that money.
Oh, like don't
commingle your funds. Like, you have to reinvest that money in the business, because you don't just get to spend all the money that you made. Like, it has to be reinvested, because your business is going to have more demands. And so I think those are the initial things.
So you see that very often?
All the time.
It's interesting.
Did you think I was going to say something different?
No, not necessarily. It's just that now, because you said it you didn't even think about it. Like, you just, boom, you said it. It's clearly that you see that so often. So, well, obviously you went already over the things that they do wrong. Let's say if somebody's starting out now and they don't have the budget, like, let's say somebody that's starting out and they're not, fortunate to have like a business on the side already. And let's say they're not as, not necessarily productive, but the way that you laid it out, like, okay, there's no excuse now, and I don't want to go into the route of, trying to manage people in a way they can get away with it. But let's say a couple of things that they could do on a budget. Okay.
So on a budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you don't have a lot of money. Okay.
But you got time.
But you got time, because you have to recognize there's a couple things that you should know right up front, and that is, you either have to learn it yourself and do it, or pay someone else to do it. Those are our only two options. We either learn it and do it, and now that doesn't mean you're gonna do it well, but you learn it and do it, right? Do it to the best of your capability, or pay someone else to do it. Those are our options, right? I can either learn to build a website and do it myself, or I can pay someone to do it. Now, I want you to understand that from the beginning. So no matter what, every time there's a decision to be made, you have to ask yourself, what is your time worth in regards to you actually doing everything in the business? Now, let's say you don't have a big budget to do a lot of things. My first thing to you is get a second job, period. Get a side hustle, period, because the business is gonna need some money. The second thing I wanna say is implement free. A lot of people get free resources and free information, and they don't implement it. That's the problem. They don't implement it. So then when you're not implementing, because then you're looking for an easier solution when there isn't one. So I would really be paying attention to, when you opt in and you get that ebook or that report from a reputable person, implement every single thing they said. Because typically the next offer, the things that they're gonna offer you that you can buy, is gonna be a low offer, which could be potentially something you can afford. And if you have a job, work overtime. If you can bake cookies on the side, listen, there's something you can do, because the truth is, you're gonna have to have the money. And that's just, what it is. So the first thing was to make sure that you understand that someone's gonna have to do it. It's gonna be either you or someone you hire. And then implement free. Like, I see people all the time opting in for things, and they never even do it. They never do it, and then they wonder why they're confused. So it's like, implement what's free. And here's another bonus. So if you're looking for, let's say, how to write a book, find 3 book coaches and opt into all 3 of their free things and see what's different. Because you may end up getting even more information because of that.
Different persons. Yeah.
Right. But I want you to also know that free is designed as an introduction. So you're not gonna be a billionaire off of free or a millionaire or a six-figure-naire, right? But it will get you out of the starting gate, right? And into the energy of where you're wanting to be, and that's important.
Super, because yeah, that's very, very important and super valuable what you said. Because this is basically the main reason of the podcast. That's why I call it Behind Closed Doors.
Yeah.
Because like, I love the fact that you mentioned, like, okay, you're building a business, but if you have to go and work part-time during nighttime, or if you gotta go and, you know, drive with Uber or Lyft or whatever you gotta do, like just go and do it. You're not hiding, and that's what I love. Like, you don't hide and just say, you know, the things that everybody wants to hear. Like, okay, you may not want to hear that.
No, you have to grind your ass.
That's super straight to the point.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what I said. Like I told you yesterday, like the way that you present things is like super unfiltered and straight to the point. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now that, let's say somebody wants to work with you.
Yeah.
Where is the best place, or they just want to get something free for you, like an ebook or something, whatever it is, where they can find you? What's the best place that they can find you or connect with you or things like that?
So thanks so much again. The best place to find me is on Facebook. In my Facebook group, you can search Coach, Speak, and Write for Profits. That's the best place to find me for free, to get free resources on how to grow your business. If you're interested in consulting, have a consult with me to discuss what your options are in regards to business education, coaching, training, then you can go to hireaprille.com. That's hire, APRILLE.com.
Awesome, and we'll make sure we'll put those links in the description of this episode, whatever you watch. If you're watching on YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes, wherever you're listening. One thing before we wrap things up, if you want to say one thing to the audience that could be the last thing that they could get from this episode, what would that be?
That would be to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you and that will not piss on your dream. Like, that's it. Like, find people who are excited that you're excited about what you want to do. Not people that are saying things to you like, why would you do that? How are you going to do that? Who do you think you are to do that? You want to find people who are pumped up about you being excited about the potential of what you can do if you really put your mind to it.